as I discussed at the beginning of the show, if you're just picking up with us, a couple of these calls on this episode, I blew it. One of them, I got involved in the actual dysfunction of the marriage relationship, and I got carried away. I allowed that to happen. And so I ended up getting frustrated with the caller. I ended up missing a crucial piece of wisdom. In this particular call you're about to hear, it's Anna from Tulsa. And Anna has a son, and that son watched his father kill somebody. And I've got stuff going on in my private life. I've been on the road. I haven't been taking care of myself very well. My diet is about that of a second grader turned loose in his parents' pantry. And I was immediately thrown back to some of those crisis calls that I went on with, especially with kids that saw things that they should never have seen, kids trying to make sense of awful things that their moms or dads had done either to them or to somebody else. And so you're going to hear in this call, I stumble through it a lot and I get quiet a lot. And there's long gaps where I don't say anything. And again, normally we would edit this stuff out or I wouldn't have taken the call. It's rare that I blow it this bad, but I thought it was important this time for this one reason. If somebody comes to you with some hard information and it's not a good time, it's always okay to say, hey, I really want to be there for you. I need 30 minutes. I really want to be there for you. I can't meet right this second. Can we meet at 5 p.m. tonight? Can we meet after the kids are in bed? Can I take you to breakfast in the morning? So this is me being vulnerable. This is me showing you, man, sometimes I step up to the plate and I just miss. This is a pivotal moment in Anna's life. And I showed up, but I wasn't fully there. Check it out. Let's go to Anna in Tulsa. What's up, Anna?
Hi, Dr. John. How are you today?
Rocking on. How are you?
I'm pretty good. So my question is, how do I support my 10-year-old son after a huge life change? He witnessed his father commit a brutal crime, and his father will be gone for a long time. And I know
what's the
question.
Crime?
Well, he committed murder in front of him.
Who'd he kill?
He found his longtime girlfriend in bed with a man, and it was the next door neighbor.
Jeez. What a mess. How many years did he get?
It's still going, so...
Okay. So before we go any further, can I just tell you I'm sorry? I'm so sorry. Your whole world's exploded, and I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
And I know you love your little boy. He's not on the phone with us right now. We can talk about him in a minute, but I'm just so sorry. Nothing's ever going to be the same, and you didn't ask for this and didn't. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry.
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected, and
that's the most Oklahoma thing I've ever heard somebody say. I'm like, well, it was just unexpected. It was a nuclear bomb that went off in your neighborhood and it detonated directly in your house, and I'm so sorry. My gosh. What a mess. For those of you listening, I've had to walk into that home too many times and hug too many Annas over the course of my career. And so I'm kind of speechless right now just because I know what's next. Okay, I'm not going to put my story onto your story, Anna. So let's talk about you. When did this happen?
It happened at the beginning of December. So we've had a little bit of time to...
Well, I was about to say, this is like yesterday. You've had no time.
he's adjusting well.
You know why? Because he's 10.
Yeah.
That's why I'm worried about you. And I want to go out on a limb just by talking to you, saying you're struggling. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
It sounds really like your ability to toggle in and out of being unable to breathe, and you feel like if you start crying, you're never going to be able to stop, to it's okay, it's great.
Pretty much.
I can't tell you how to grieve because everybody does it differently. But I want to tell you, the longer that goes, the deeper those grooves get, man. It gets real hard. And I know you feel like you have to be the rock in the wind for your son, and there's some truth to that. Somebody's got to make sure he eats and is fed and he's still got connectivity, especially after the hell he's been through and the hell he's going to go through. But the greatest gift he could ever have in the world right now is a mom that's honest with herself and with him and with the world around her. Okay?
Yeah.
He's going to need a strong balance of stability, and he's going to need a mom who tells him the truth when she's devastated and heartbroken, okay?
Okay.
Don't hide your grief from him. It's a gift. It'll be a great gift to him. Okay?
Okay.
That's my promise, my promise, my promise, my promise. God, I'm so sorry. How have you say it's been a while? It hasn't. It's been like a month, 2 months, right? 2.5 months. Has your son been asked to testify yet?
Yeah, he has been, and that's kind of where my question really is how do we handle that, because his grandmother, his paternal grandmother, she's trying to manipulate his testimony and
get her as far away from that boy as possible. Okay?
Yeah, there's an order in place now.
Good.
So it's just hard with his questions, when can I go see them? When can I,
Oh, man. Okay. Let's walk through this from the tip top, okay? He's going to always know that half of him is mommy and half of him is daddy. Okay? And the dance you're going to have to do is going to be a difficult one, because you're going to have to let him know that I loved your dad, but I did not like what he did. And he got in big trouble for what he did, because what he did was wrong. But the moment that switches to I hate him, I'll never love him again, I'm pissed off at him, he ruined our lives, that 10-year-old boy is going to internalize that, because half of him is that guy. And then on the other hand, you got grandparents telling him how great he was, and it was just a moment of whatever, and it was for self-defense, and it was a moment of passion. And so he's going to be thinking, yeah, I guess the scariest, most sickest moment of my life was from a good guy. See how confused this little boy is?
Right.
Oh, man. So he's going to need, in short order, like today, tomorrow, right? And this isn't all fall on you. This falls on some caregivers, and that's why I can't stand it when adults act like idiots, like his grandparents are. Well, and you know what? I can't call them idiots, because they love their son, and they're in the same. I get it. He's gonna have to know that he is wonderful and magical and able to overcome things, but he can't just get that with words. What does that mean? That means you're going to have to give him a bunch of little opportunities to be successful. And so are his teachers, and so are his aunts and uncles that you trust, and so are friends of parents' friends. He's going to have chores. He's going to have a bunch of little wins. And then when he has success in little places, everyone needs to rally around and point it out. Look what you did. Great job. Look how hard you tried.
Right.
right? And if we just wrap our arms around him and tell him, you're so wonderful and great and perfect and lovely and all that, there's going to be a disconnect in what his body feels and what his brain knows. So it's got to be through accountability. It's got to be through action, okay? Whether that's joining jiu-jitsu or playing baseball or whatever. And you're going to have to be prepared for him to love his dad and be so mad at you that he can't go see him every day. And then in short order, hate his dad so much that he can't breathe. And then go right back to loving dad because he can't hate him too much because that means he hates himself. Do you see? I mean, it's going to be a dance from here out.
Right.
Right? A friend of mine who does this for a living, works with these kids. She's just a savant. She's been on the show, actually. Everybody's going to want to get to your kid because he's a prosecutor's dream and he's a defense attorney's nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Has he already testified or is it coming up or how's that working?
He has already done he's testified, not in the court yet. They're still working on that process, but he's already done an interview.
Did you interview with the psychologist or with the judge in his chambers or her chambers?
He did. Well, they started with play therapy to get it going, and the prosecutor said that is going to be strong in the case because they just don't want. He hasn't really talked about it, and they want when it happens to be as organic as possible, and so he hasn't really spoke about it or anything.
Okay.
He has a therapist he's going to weekly.
Good.
But they're still building a relationship. So
I would write this down: TFCBT, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. It's extraordinary, and it's actually pretty systematic. And what it does is it teaches him how to feel safe in his body when his body sounds every freaking alarm that it has, which it will. Because there's going to be moments of terror and rage and self-hatred and hatred of dad and hatred of you and hatred of everybody. And that little body doesn't know how to handle all that. And so what trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy does, it teaches kids how to take deep breaths and how to lengthen the gap between stimulus and response and how to feel safe in your own body and what to do when you don't feel safe. So it's a lot of skills he's going to learn in a pretty systematic way. And if it's possible there in Tulsa where you live, I would seek that out. Okay?
Okay.
And I feel like I'm just talking, man. I'm making your story mine. I've just been down this road so much, and it's just so heartbreaking for me. And I know it's heartbreaking for you. You're living in hell. I mean, your glasses are tinted in red and fire because you're living in hell. Any specific questions I can help with? I feel like I'm just rambling. I'm so sorry.
No, but I appreciate everything you've said. It's been very insightful in the situation. My big question is, when this is over with and he has been sentenced and everything, how do I talk about, because I've already set the boundary, I'm not taking him to visit in the jail, and I'm not going to entertain phone conversations where he's trying to put stuff in his head. And so I want to just be able to I was thinking, okay, well, you can write letters, and then when you're 18, we can give them to dad, or, if dad wants to write letters, I'll give them to him when he's 18. But I just want to make sure that he feels like he's being heard, because now, his dad is gone.
Yeah. So part of the boundary is keeping your kids safe. And if in short order, or if over time, there is an understanding that if your husband is able to say, or your ex-husband, are y'all divorced now?
We were never married.
Okay. All right.
So,
if he is able to say things like, Daddy really messed up big time, and I hurt somebody really bad, and so I had to go away. If he takes ownership for the fracture in the relationship, that's the sign that I will entertain some communication. But
Okay.
if there's some, I got screwed, you see what I'm saying? He needs to own dad and son are not together because of something dad did, not son.
Right. And I don't think he's there yet, and I don't think he will be for a couple years.
That's his choice. And I think in a way to articulate that doesn't mean you get the phone, doesn't mean you get a bunch of visits right up front. What you don't want to do is be the person that is so enraged by what he did and so enraged by the embarrassment and the shame and all that stuff and how he blew your life up and blew your son's life up, that when he's able to say, this is 100% on me, and son, I'm looking at you and I'm proud of you and I believe in you and you're not going to be like me. When he can say those words will be like oxygen in that little boy's lungs. But that also takes a sense of maturity that somebody who hauls off and just kills the neighbor might not have, right?
Right.
And so I think you're wise to not allow connection right now, and I think you're wise to allow letters. And I would allow letters and read the letters. And if there's nothing bogus or dumb in them, I miss you, son, and I can't wait to see you someday, and all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking out loud. You know what? I'm just an idiot on a podcast. Work with his psychologist on that. I'm angry right now on your behalf, and so it's clouding my judgment a little bit. Because my thoughts right now is that guy deserves to never talk to that little boy ever again as long as he lives. And I want that boy to not know that man ever existed, except he can't because it's his daddy. And he probably looks just like him and he saw everything that happened.
Yeah, and if he writes letters and he does take ownership, then I think that would be a different story. It's just when he has done this and then he talks on the phone about how he wants his mom to get our son to manipulate the testimony, it confuses me so bad because I don't understand how you would first you've committed this act in front of him, and now you're trying to re-traumatize him and convince him that he didn't see everything that he saw.
Right. Yeah, he needs to be as far away from that man as possible. That man's lost the right to have connection with his son. And I'm not saying that's forever, but that's certainly for the foreseeable future. If you try to weaponize a kid after what you did to him, God help you, man. I'll tell you this. It's going to be very easy to go to autopilot. Please fight that with all you can. What that means is you're going to have to feel this, and it's going to be unimaginable pain. And I'll tell you, you can't do it by yourself. Do you believe me when I say that? Do you believe me?
I do believe.
Okay. So hear me say the greatest gift you can get your son is for you to get a couple of good friends, for you to get a counselor, for you to get some friends at your church. Wherever you've got people, and set up a regular time that you can meet. And even if it's 2 or 3 girlfriends that you text and say, hey, I'm going to need to just speak openly and to word vomit sometimes. And I'm going to need someone to walk alongside me. I've picked y'all 2 or 3 or 4. If y'all are in every Monday at 10 or whatever, every Tuesday at whatever time, if y'all will be there for me as often as you can, I'd be eternally grateful.
Okay, I can do that.
And you keep showing up and you keep showing up and you keep showing up. And y'all ask each other, what's one thing you did good for yourself this week? What's one thing you're grateful for? What's one thing you are just devastated, heartbreaking for? Because you're going to have to fight the urge to check out, to just numb through this because it's going to hurt that bad. And if the defense attorney's doing their job is to Make the world believe your 10-year-old son is a liar. And it will make you feel and see rage like you've probably never experienced in your life. And if your son has a good attorney, then their job is to defend him from that nonsense and that evil.
Right.
Let me say it this way. Everything in your life is different now. And the sooner, imagine your house caught on fire and all of a sudden the ceiling starts caving in and you put up one hand to try to stop it. And then all of a sudden the beam starts falling over here. And so you reach up over there and then the floor starts bubbling up and you've got 1 foot like over, trying to keep the floor up. The sooner you just get out of the house and let it go to ash, which is where it's headed, and then you can start the cleanup process and start imagining what's life going to be like now. It's not any easier, but it's a whole lot less psychological devastation because you don't have all that wasted energy trying to hold this thing together. Everything's new now. Okay?
That makes sense.
And it's okay to be so mad, and so heartbroken and so everything. That little boy's going to need the nerd word we use is attunement, attachment. He's going to need to know that his mommy sees his eyes and feels his heart, and that he can see her eyes and feel her heart even when her heart is sad.
Okay.
Okay? And I keep saying this, I'm so sorry. As y'all head through this process, please, don't hesitate to call. Keep him away from media. Keep him away from well-meaning aunts and uncles. If you do have aunts and uncles come over or friends or whoever, feel free to say, do not talk about dad. Don't say you look just like him. Don't say, so glad that you're not whatever, or nothing. He's not mentioned in this house right now. The only person with permission to mention dad is your little boy. That's it. And we're keeping away from, keep away from media. Keep up the good work with him in counseling. And make sure you take care of yourself. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call anytime I can help. I'm so sorry. My goodness.